Hi, we are the group WeO2 and have worked on a project named Crunch Wizard, which we will briefly present in this video. Imagine a student playing an educational learning game, like you see in this picture. As a researcher and teacher, it would be interesting to get different types of information about the student. By using different types of devices, we can extract raw physiological data from the student and calculate different measurements. A measurement can be things like if the student is stressed, if they think the task is difficult, or just how they move. The goal is to use these measurements to get information on how students react to different tasks in the game. So how do we get the physiological data needed? As stated before, we use different types of devices, in this case a wristband, an eye tracker, and a web camera. All these devices produces different types of information. For the wristband, we use an Empatica E4, which can derive physiological information such as the user's heart rate and temperature. This can, for example, indicate the user's stress levels. For the eye tracker, we use a device called Tobii eye tracker, which captures the user's eye movement and pupil size. Based on this information, we can, for example, measure how difficult a task is perceived. The web camera captures a video feed of the user, and the program has two modes. We either use a deep learning pose estimation library called OpenPose to estimate the student's skeletal positions, or we use another deep learning library called PyEmotion to estimate the student's emotional state. The information gathered by these three devices is fed into the Crunch Wizard program, which computes the measurements live and then sends the result to be visualized for the end user. This is a more detailed view of the CrunchWiz pipeline. As we can see, each device has its own process, which receives data and computes measurements from the data. When a measurement is computed, it is written to a directory of CSV files, which acts as a database. A separate process reads the data from the CSV files and sends the data to a dedicated front-end dashboard via WebSocket connection. We will now show a demonstration of how the dashboard works. After opening the dashboard in our browser, we need to enter the IP of the Crunch Wizard program. As we connect, we see different types of measurements being displayed. This means the backend program has started calculating measurements and is now transferring them in real time to the dashboard. If we click on a measurement, we can see a more detailed view of it. For those measurements with a textual value, like emotion, we can see a radar graph of the most common emotions the user has had during the game. On the left side, we can view statistics of the most and least common emotion. We can also view a table graph, and we can see the measurements are frequently updating. We can close the extended panel by clicking on the close icon in the top right corner. The measurements with a colored circle are measurements with a numerical value, and the circle works as an indicator of this value. A circle colored gray represents minimal to no change. An orange or red color indicates increase and significant increase, while the color green represents a decrease. If we click on one of these measurements, we can see a live graph of the changes. The graph can be changed to display all values for the last 1, 3, and 5 minutes of the received data. On the left side, we can see statistics such as the maximum, minimum, and average value for the selected measurement. By switching to the table graph, we can see how the selected measurements compare to the others, either by their maximum, minimum, or average value. Well, that's all. Thank you for watching.